Immortals, perhaps to counter those Marauders. He may want to shy away from the Colossus at this point, as he does not have air superiority. RedArchon now has 7 Vikings in the air, going to be able to almost two-shot any sort of Colossi. Vikings are going to do 14 damage to the armored there, so almost 100 damage per volley to each of those Colossus. Looks like we have gravitic boosters coming out for HuK. You don't often see that upgrade research, but it is going to give his observers a little bit of speed, and also blink as well. So he is going to be able to blink and catch these Vikings, possibly take them down in support for those Colossus. It looks like RedArchon is going to push out here. He's going to take back map control, take back these towers, and he could push into HuK's base right now. HuK is a little bit weak right now with this army, 2,300 to 3,600. It looks like RedArchon had sent out an initial scout, so he knows what HuK's army consists of right now. And it looks like he's going to push at this 3rd expansion, and he's setting up his own 3rd expansion here, possibly at the gold. Moving these Vikings into the back, they're going to try to snipe off any sort of Colossus that they say. These Stalkers in good position. And now this split army is Zealots and Immortals in one spot, Colossus and the Stalkers in another. RedArchon needs to take down this one Colossus. The Vikings are landing, but oh no, the Colossus does come in here. The Vikings need to lift up again and take down this Colossus. The point defense drone goes down, is focused down quickly by those Stalkers. The Colossus is going to go down to these Marines and Marauders from the back, and this expansion is very susceptible to this high ground attack. No sight for HuK right now, as his Colossus did go down, so he cannot see up this cliff. He's going to have to attack from the north here. The point defense drone does go down, absorbing all the damage from these Stalkers at the moment. Stalkers blinking and trying to get close to these units. Vikings going to land and try to support from behind, but the Marauders are going to go down to these Immortals, so powerful against those armored units. They're going to be very, very powerful against these Vikings on the ground too, as Vikings are not great in their ground mode. The Immortals do have 2 upgrades right now, so doing 60 damage to those armored units. We see the Marauder, they're going to be 2-shotting, 3-shotting those Marauders with a little bit of help, as HuK's going to move out and claim the center once again. Does see a dropship coming in over here and trying to move some Stalkers over here. With blink, they may be able to catch this dropship, as it is a full dropship. RedArchon has lost another one before. Looks like they are. That dropship's going to go down. HuK is pushing out in the front. Looks like his Zealots are going to go down to this MMM ball here. RedArchon does have this point defense drone ability, but no Stalkers on the field. He decides to go for the turrets instead. Turrets absorb a little bit of damage, and now he may be able to push back at HuK. HuK doesn't have much of an army, just warping in as many units as he can. He's thrown down another 4 gateways in his expansion here, so 7 gateways total, 2 robotics facilities running off of. He's now gotten a Templar Archives up as well, so he's getting High Templar. Looks like he has not yet researched Psionic Storm or the Amulet. He did finish the shield upgrade earlier, so I was wondering what he was going to do with that. So now these Archons do have a shield upgrade. So because they have 350 shields, that shield upgrade is going to do a lot more than the armor upgrade for those Protoss units. So we'll see if HuK does move out with these Archon, see if that's part of his plan. He is researching Storm now, so he may Storm and quickly transform those the Templar into Archons. This command center is now being morphed into a planetary fortress for RedArchon, so it's going to be very powerful. It's going to establish good map control for RedArchon here. He's establishing his 4th base as well. These planetary fortresses are very tough to deal with unless you have the Colossus. The Colossus can outrange the planetary fortress, but with all the Vikings on the field for RedArchon, HuK may be a little bit scared of going Colossi right now. As you see, he has swapped over to the High Templar to deal with this Medevac Marine Marauder push. So we'll see which army consistency is able to hold up here. HuK has switched this game plan a little bit. He does have these Archons now and the Templar, and RedArchon is just going with more of the same. It's like Tylenol, you just take more and more. The Marine Marauder Ball is just going to do the job as long as you have enough, as long as you have good micro. And HuK establishing more map control here with these pylons, warping in units, doing more harassment with these Blink Stalkers, taking down this refinery. All these mules, again, 3 mules doing no mining right now. So RedArchon needs to get in here with these units and help this expansion, or else his income is going to go to 0. So you see, he has fallen behind HuK here. He just has the gold working right now. He's mined out of both the main and the natural. And HuK is just continuing to pick off these SCVs with his Blink Stalkers. The Stalkers are going to be taken down, Viking providing sight to these units on the high ground. This pylon is going to go down. HuK's going to engage from behind. We'll see if we have any sort of storms on these Marines and Marauders. Storms has finished. I believe Amulet might have finished as well. These Archons going to come in and try to tank storms all over these SCVs. He's going to lose a number of SCVs here. Looks like he's down to 34 SCVs total. He was up at 59, so he lost about 25 SCVs in those storms. HuK warping in more Archons now that the energy of the Templar has gone down. Archon's trying to finish off this orbital command here, so HuK is smart, going for this 4th base rather than that planetary fortress. Going to be very tough to match with the army that he has. So picking his spots here correctly. As you see, the shield upgrade is going to make those Archons a little more sturdy, and he's got a number of units coming from behind as well, so these Archons are in RedArchon's base. HuK's applying pressure from multiple places. RedArchon has his rally point set for this planetary fortress. He needs to bring his units up here to take on these Archons and the forces back here. These mules are going down. The income of RedArchon is really suffering, down to 1,200. HuK is up at 1,800. And HuK just applying constant pressure. More storms on these SCVs. SCVs now down to 21 SCVs. So just this one base is currently mining for RedArchon. HuK is just avoiding this planetary fortress, taking out the SCVs instead. So if we look at the resources of both players, HuK is now almost up to 1,000 as Macro is slipping a little bit as he is doing these multi-prong attacks. All these units in the natural of RedArchon just going to do damage to these structures just a little bit at a time. HuK warping in more units here, more Archons and Zealots on the way. Look at the army tab, 2,500 to 1,000. So RedArchon has taken the lead. If he pushes out here, he may be able to. Oh, some great storms going down. Most of those Marines do go down, and the Marauders are very low. Archon coming in here, possibly come in. No, it's going to go down before it's able to warp in. So tons of action here. RedArchon does have the advantage, 2,000 to 500. Does have some Marauders down here. This is all HuK's army right now, just these 5 Zealots. He did warp in a few more units elsewhere on the map. Looks like he's got some units up behind the 4th base of RedArchon, but RedArchon is just plowing through these units. If he's able to take down this gold expansion, that could be a huge blow. HuK is on 4 bases right now. Looks like we have a Viking just scouting what HuK's going to be supporting with. RedArchon is skirting the natural of HuK. May attack this 3rd base here. This is the only mining base for HuK right now. We see more pressure here, more storms. He did move his SCVs out of the way of those storms, so he did save those SCVs this time. But just 18 harvesters to 71 for HuK. So HuK did lose that gold expansion, but he has all of his probes up and working again. Looks like he's going to do some long distance mining from the gold. RedArchon needs to move in it and try to take down this Nexus. Looks like he's instead going to pull back 1,900 to 1,800 for these armies, so both players able to recover a little bit, and it looks like RedArchon may just retreat to this mineral field. He has to establish this 4th base or another base on the map, possibly on this right side. He has to get his income up going again. If you look at the income tab, both players relatively even, as HuK did lose his gold, now doing some long distance mining with those 71 probes. The Immortals coming in, going to be a great counter against these Marauders, as we have mostly Marauders left, as those Storms do take down this Marines. So the Immortals and the Storms are going to be very powerful together, taking down the Marines and Marauders each. A Storm coming in here, all those Marines go down, just the Marauders left, and those Marauders are on empty, as are the Medevacs. All these units very close to death. Just one more Storm, or one shot from a few of those Immortals, those charge lots going in, could wreak havoc with the RedArchon's army. He just has this planetary fortress yet. HuK needs to pull back from that and engage it last. He's almost mined out at this gold. A storm goes down, it's going to take out all those units in the middle. Again, these Marauders very low. HuK picking off a number of Medevacs there. And now moving forward with this charge lot, going to be able to take down RedArchon's army if he gets too far away from that planetary fortress. HuK instead smartly, wisely choosing to go into the natural of RedArchon here. Can't fight next to that planetary fortress. Immortals are going to try to take on those Marauders, but just too much. HuK's army needs to get together. He's got a number of units. He's got a split army. He needs to attack together. He's going to lose this if he does not attack. Looks like he's done some retreating back here with his Stalkers. His Zealots are exiting stage left. And RedArchon is holding it down for now. almost mined out at the gold here. Needs to get up another base quickly or else this one's going to be over. If you look at the army tabs, still relatively even, both players in the mid 2000s. And we see HuK just has a split army here. Looks like a bunch of Templar taking on these Marines Marauders, and HuK maybe combining here Stalkers and Zealots to move in at this planetary fortress. It looks like RedArchon is going to try to take down this Nexus again, and he does, but that's going to leave the planetary fortress all alone. These SCVs can come in and try to repair it. The storms on the SCVs are going to take down a lot of them, and that planetary fortress goes down. Just the one base left for RedArchon. He had floated over his natural to that 4th base. Now trying to do the best kiting he can, but this charge lot is going to make it very difficult. The medevac's almost on empty here. No more storms left for HuK. It's just these Stalkers, just these Zealots against the Marines and the Marauders here. So basic units as it comes down to it. HuK's going to retreat again and take the advantage as he does still have a mining base. If we look at RedArchon, only has 1 mule right now, so no SCVs on the field, no income at all, just 120 a minute, and RedArchon knows that it's over as HuK's taking down his last 2 forces right there, and he's on no bases. So quite an exciting game there, quite a macro-oriented game. HuK was able to take map control, just like a Zerg, with pylons all over the place. He knew any sort of drops that were coming from RedArchon, killed 2 full medevacs early on, so denied any sort of medevac pressure and dropped pressure from RedArchon, and then was just able to squeeze his economy. Lots of great harassment with those Blink Stalkers along this 4th base here. And then eventually that planetary fortress did go down when RedArchon's army was out of position there. So great first round game, game 1 of a best of 3 series between these 2 players. I'll go ahead and cast game 2 now. So that will be up on my channel shortly after this one, and look forward to seeing you there. Thanks for watching.